Hey there, fourth grade. This is Mr. Campbell. Today we are going to be working on division with partial quotients. So, if you liked partial quotients, this is the video for you. But if you preferred the traditional model, then you should be flipping over to the other video. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in with our worksheet for today. We're going to be going over these. I need you to grab a pencil and follow along with me as we go today. We're going to have a couple of different problems. I'm going to show you a couple of different strategies in partial quotients that hopefully will help you out as you are solving some of these. All right. So let's go ahead and jump in to number one. Now, we gave plenty of space working down, but I can't write super huge. All right. So when we're writing, you don't have to be super tiny. That's why we gave you the extra space, but make sure as we're writing, we're keeping it all together. All right. So for partial quotients, the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line right over here. And the reason that I do that is to keep separate the things that I'm going to multiply 2 by from I'm going to keep subtracting until I get down to as small as I can, which would either be a 1 or a 0, because it has to be smaller than my divisor. All right. So when I take a look at these, I can start anywhere that I want to. Usually when I'm starting, I'm always trying to work from the largest down. And so I say, okay, I've got a 4 here. So 2 times what will get me close to a 4? Well, I know that a 1 will, right? Because 2 times 1 will get me a 2. But now look at here. I need to make sure that I put in zeros so that my place values line up. And when I put those 2 zeros here, I need to put those 2 zeros over here. So 2 times 100 equals 200. And now I can subtract. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 0 is 8. And 6 minus 0 is 6. All right, so now I have 286. All right, well, again, I could do another 100 because I've got a 2 in the hundreds place here, right? So 2 times 1 is 2. I have 2 zeros, and so those go over there also. All right, so I can subtract this, and boom, just like that, I am down to 86 because 2 minus 2 is 0. All right, so I've got 86 left over. 2 times what? I don't need to look at the whole 86. I just need to look at one place value at a time. And so, 8. I know that 2 times 4, right? 2 times 4 equals 8. But this isn't just an 8. It's in the tens place. So I need to put that 0 so that there's a place values lining up. And then I need to put that 0 over here. So really this is 2 times 40. And 2 times 40 is 80. And then 6 minus 0 is 6. 8 minus 8 is 0. So I've got a 6 left over. I don't know. I'm just going to go with 1. And so it's already in the ones place. So 2 times 1 is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. I know that 2 times 2 is 4. There we go. And I ended up with a 0 over here. Now, you might be sitting there and going, hey, Mr. Campbell, I already knew that 2 times 3 was 6. And you are welcome to do that. Part of what's great about partial quotients is that we can break it into as many smaller pieces as we want. Now, to be the most efficient is always the best. Just like up here, maybe you saw, I knew that 2 times 2 was 4. And I could have done 400 right off the jump. That's great. If you know how to do that, then you're welcome to it. But this also just helps us just to keep going until this number down here is smaller than the number over here. We can keep going, keep going, keep going. And as long as we keep track of our place values, then we're okay. The final step is to add up everything that was on the outside. We don't add up what's in here. This is all subtraction. Out here is addition. So 0 plus 0 plus 0. Plus 1 plus 2 is 3, right? 1 plus 2 is 3, and all those zeros. 0, 0, 4, and there's nothing else, so I have a 4 in my tens place, all right? And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So my final answer, and I write it up here, my final answer goes up here. My final answer is 243, all right? 243. So 486 divided by 2 is 243. We're starting off a little easy. We'll work our way up a little bit more. All right, so let's slide over to number 2. All right, so for number 2, I'm going to give you a second strategy. All right, my second strategy is going to be like this. I've got the number 4, and I'm not super great with my 4s. All right. When I know my multiples of 2, those are a little bit easier, but 4s, they can be a little bit tricky. So what I'm going to actually use is the space over here, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to say, well, 1 times 4, I'm going to draw this. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. And now here's where I start to get mixed up. But what I can do is I can just keep adding 4 more. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4, well, if I'm at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I know 4 times 5, oops, I wrote the wrong number. 4 times 5 is 20. And I'm going to pause there. I don't need to do everything, but this should give me just a little bit of something to work with when I get over to these bigger numbers. So over here, we're going to start off by drawing our line. All this is a multiplication table for 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And 5 times 4 is 20. All right. So when I come over here, I can go, okay, well, I'll start off with my 1. I'm going to start here in the hundreds place, and I can see 4 times 1 is 4, but then I have 0 and a 0, and over here, 0 and 0. All right. I can subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. All right. Well, I see I've got a 3 here, and I can't multiply 4 by anything. So instead, I'm just going to multiply by 5. All right. So if I multiply by 5, I know my answer will be 20. And then I need an extra 0. Sorry, 4th grade. We just had the announcement, so that's why I had to pause, and now I'm back. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20, but then I need to make sure that that 0 is there, which is why we put the 0 over on this side as well. All right, now I can subtract, and 6 minus 0 is 6, 5 minus 0 is 5, 3 minus 2 is 1. I'm left with 156, right? And so I look on here and I go, well, I can't do 16 here because that's 2. So let's do a 3, right? If I do a 3, 4 times 3 is 12. And I'm going to need another 0 to get the place value over there. And now I can subtract again. 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. All right. So I've got 36 left. Well, let me just go ahead and use my 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. And I've got 16 left over. And I see here I can do a 4 because 4 times 4 is 16. And so there's a 0 here. Remember, when I get this all the way down to 0 or a number that is smaller than my divisor, I am done with that part. I need to add up everything over here. So 0 plus 0 plus 0. 5 plus 4 is 9. 5 plus 3 is 8. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So the final answer here is 189. All right, 189. So again, my little multiplication table of 4s can help me when I'm finding things over here to just keep taking away. The whole idea of division is we are just subtracting bit by bit until we get down to the very end. All right, let's go ahead and flip over to question number 3. All right, question number 3. And again, I've got a larger number here that I'm not super great with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off making my 7's multiplication table. All right, so 7 times 1 is 7. And then 7 times 2, if I add 7 plus 7, that's 14. 7 times 3 is 21. I'm just adding 7 more every single time in my little multiplication chart here. 7 more than 21 is 28. And again, I usually like to just go up to 5 because it's an easy kind of number. I can always skip count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, right? I can skip count quickly. And because I'm doing partial quotients, I can just use these numbers over here to keep subtracting from in my partial quotient. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go ahead and give myself some space over here. And I'm going to go ahead and see 7 times what will get me closest to this 8. Well, 7 times 1 will give me a 7, right? But then I need to put in my zeros to make sure that the place values line up. 0 and 0. And now 9 minus 0 is 9. 3 minus 0 is 3. 8 minus 7 is 1. Perfect. All right. So here I see I've got a 13, right? I can't multiply 7 by 2 because it'll be 14, which would be too big. So I'm just going to do another 1 and get my 7 right here, but then I need to put a 0 so that the place values line up. And the reason I'm doing that is because now I can say, well, what's 13? 13 minus 7, right? Well, 13 minus 7 is 6, and then I've got my 9 still here, right? All right, cool. Well, I've got 69, so I'm going to go ahead and do my 5. So 7 times 5, we just said, is 35, and that should take a good chunk out of this, right? So now we're down to 34. Can I multiply by another 5? Well, the answer is no, because 35 would be larger than the 34. So let me go up 1. I'm going to say I'm going to do 7 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. And when I subtract, I've got 6 left over, and 6 is smaller than my divisor. The answer down here is smaller than my divisor, so I know that I'm done. I like to put a big circle around this. Otherwise, sometimes I forget. I don't know if you're like me. Sometimes I forget, and I'm like, oh no, I forgot. I got to do it. There we go. Okay? So I'm going to circle that. I need that at the end. All right? Let me add everything up. Well, 5 plus 4 is 9. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus nothing is 1. So my answer is 119, but then I can't forget this 6, all right? So what I need to do is I need to come up here and I say I have a remainder, because this is my leftover. I have a remainder of 6. So my final answer is 119 with a remainder of 6. All right? Now for number 4, I'm going to get you started, and then I'm going to actually ask you to pause in just a second, and you're going to pause the video, and you're going to try the rest of this problem on your own. All right. Now, I've got the number 6 here, and so I'm going to start off by creating my own little multiplication chart of 6. All right. So these are all going to be times 6. All right. And I already told you I only like to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just, for me, that's what I like to do. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. I just want this as a reference. So 6 times 1 is 6. 2 sixes together is 12. 12 plus another 6 is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I'm doing this so that you can see this is how you can do these when you get to an independent problem. 18 plus another 6 is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then 6 times 5 is 30. I always know 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right. I can use this to do my partial quotients over here. I'm going to ask you to pause your video, do the very best that you can on this one, and then check your work. All right. So pause the video right now. Do not just let it keep running. Pause and try this on your own. All right, we are trusting that you are pausing when we say to pause, because that's the only way that you're actually going to understand this. It's really frustrating as teachers when we go, hey, did you pause the video and try it on your own? And you go, no. Well, then you're not actually using your brain to try it on your own, and use that brain to practice, because you're going to be doing these without help. So we want to give you the chance to try on your own, okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to check it out. 6 times what will get me closest to this 9? Well, 6 times 1 is 6, right? And then I need a 0 and a 0, so the place values line up. So really, this is 6 times 100 is 600. All right. So if I subtract that, I'm left with 399. Well, I see right here I could do 6 times 5 would give me a 30, right? 6 times 5 is 30, but I need an extra 0, so the place value lines up. All right. So when I do that, I go, okay, well, now I've got 99. Okay, all right. I got this down here pretty quick, right? Well, what can I do now? I've got 90. I'm going to do another 5, right? If I times it by 5, and then I've got 30, because 6 times 5 is 30. And so then there's 69. I can do another 5, and that would be another 30, right? Ooh, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. There's another 5. So there we go. All right. So now I have 39 left over because 6 times 5 was 30. 9 minus 0 is 9. 6 minus 3 is 3. I can do another 5 and take away another 30. There's 9 left over. Well, 6 times 1. 6 times 1 is 6. And so I have 3 left over here, right? That's smaller than my divisor. So I'm going to circle it so I don't forget about it. And now I've got all these parts. Do you see how in partial quotients, I don't have to get it exact. I can just keep going. I see I had 5, 10, 15 right here. Okay. All right. So I can just go ahead and add those up. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to say 5, 10, 15 plus one more is 16. So I'm going to regroup my 1. 1 plus 5 is another 6. And then my hundreds place, I only have a 1 for my 100. So my answer is 166 with a remainder of 3. All right. That is how we can use partial quotients to solve this problem. Now, on your next 2, you're going to do these all on your own, and then you'll check in with your teacher. I did give you a little bit easier divisors, all right, 5 and 3, but you're going to go through the same steps of using partial quotients to try out these 2 problems. All right. All right, 4th grade. Thanks for sticking with me and working hard on today's lesson. I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of the day.